Hello, hello all. Today is our 12th session. It was, sorry, it was planned to start with Dr. Beatrice Wiaf, but she is in the road and she will join us after 15 minutes. So I'll start with these three parts, important parts of the exploring scientific approaches to lower the total cost of cancer care systemic therapy. And as we agreed together before, after will be repurposed after we finish this series next time. And next time also will be very exciting that Dr. Cathy Graf and Jennifer Gent from BioVenture for Global Health will have a very excellent presentation and about African access to care. This BioVenture is a group in United States and working globally in the world for increased access of cancer care via negotiation and via many things. As I told you before, maybe the participant, the audience now is not much, but be sure that what we are saying now is not represent me only. No, I am just one of many. It's represent you, present many millions of cancer patients who are screaming, please don't let us continue like this. And are there solutions? Yes. And believe me, this what we are saying now together will be the trend in the world very soon. So be the leader, be the advocate, be the pioneer. Feel free to publish, to present, and use this material. It is yours. It is not ours. It is inspired from the publication of many. Now we start.
Good morning.
Hello. Today we start our fourth part of 7 of our series, examples of scientific exploration for resource-saving value cancer drug systemic therapy. As you see, this is just 4 of 7 video lecture, and there are many example, published example. We didn't invent anything, but this doesn't to say that why there is no implementation of this. But by you all, we can do it. You can do it. Course director, Professor Eduardo Gazab, David Carol Sicora, Wilfred Niqua, Cristina Stefan, Tualib Gomez, Ricardo Odesio, and Lucan Croci, all these English professor, and I. And a slide prepared by Dr. Fifi Mustafa Sayed and reviewed by me. Disclosure of conflicts, none. You notice that the most of our slides are not short because the text are not short because we include reference. Please refer to reference. We didn't invent anything. You can in the reference it says there are reference of the reference. And if you need feedback, if you need PDF materials of the slides, please send to us feedback at ISODoc website. Please send. Feel free. Note 1, as we repeat, as always, that along the GOIS program, and this in short lecture, we don't only transfer some information in passive way, but it is brainstorming, not offending anyone. The objective is that all will win. All your feedback are welcome. As I get together in the Win-Win Initiative in the GOIS, Global Oncology University, we adopted the flexibility of thoughts, free flow of ideas, classic innovation approaches that all be focused on scientific and practical implementation in order to serve the goal and increase the affordability of better value cancer care in the real world. So all will get more sustainable gain, including patients, communities, healthcare, cancer care professionals, industries, economies, and all stakeholders. We are not defending any. We are all open for all feedback, critical appraisal, and constructive critics. We start today with example of dose reduction using food effects and drug interaction through pharmacokinetic-based study, all based on science. Labetanib, abiraterone, pazopanib, certinib, venclexta, or venetoclax, as we say, all of venetoclax. Okay. Labetanib. Labetanib is an oral dual tyrosine kinase inhibitor of both epidermal growth factors and ERBB2. It is approved by for advanced ERBB2 positive breast cancer. Pharmacokinetic-based study includes an example that showed that 500 milligram labetanib taken orally with food and a beverage containing CYP3A inhibitors such as grapefruit fruit, as GOIS as example, as just example. Anything contain this inhibitor, and not on empty stomach, as stated, may be effective as 1,250 milligram, which is the current FDA approved dose without food. These changes could reduce the dose of cost and labetanib by around 60% for this expensive drug, and the habitual dose for one patient is around 1,200 to 1,500 milligrams per day. In addition, there is an opportunity to save the cost of treatment of diarrhea due to labetanib. It has been suggested that diarrhea is caused by the unabsorbed drug in the gut. So why you give drug, extra drug which is unabsorbed? Pharmacokinetic studies that pursue ways to enhance viability of vision could markedly decrease the required dose and associated treatment costs. Strategy includes the support of clinical process to pursue evidence to support less costly and optimal therapeutic efficacy outcome. There are references here. You can abiraterone, a study of oral agents approved by FDA in the last 10 years demonstrated that oral oncology drugs have been generally been used as requiring fasting, despite the fact that food can create up to 4-fold increase in bioavailability. The apparent bias of labeling oncology drug for fasting is exemplified by abiraterone, abiraterone acetate, which is absorbed by marketing in the United States in April 28, 2011. For the treatment of metastatic prostate cancer, abiraterone acetate is a prodrug of abiraterone, an inhibitor of CYP17 that decrease the extra-testicular formation of androgens. Abiraterone, most notably, it has food effect greater than that any other marketed drugs. Even some articles stated that 5 to 10-fold depending on fat content, yet is labeled to be taken while fasting. The reference is here. Zytiga here. Zytiga is abiraterone, okay? This is trade name. Studies shown that low abiraterone doses of 500 milligram once daily above food was non-inferior to the standard dose of 1,000 milligram abiraterone in castration-resistant prostate cancer. However, the market effects of high-fat meal, a 10-fold increase in exposure, even to a 10-fold, you imagine this, imply the absolute viability in the fasting state is no more than 10%. The most likely to be the result of low absorption under fasting condition because of the low absorption, low absorption under fasting condition, because it is around 77% in this article, but it's 80, 75, but it's around 75, 77, because this percentage, 3/4 of the administered drug, is excreted as abiraterone or its prodrug in feces. So Ratan proposed a provocative question. Do we really need to flush our few successful products down the toilet? This is the reference, Ratan, and this is the very provocative even title: Flushing Oral Oncology Drugs Down the Toilet. This is the title of this very respectable, really, article published in a very respectable Journal of Clinical Oncology by very respectable author, Ratan, Professor Ratan. Tanuk. Really, we learned a lot from Professor Antanik also. When he's, well, please refer, search about Ayan Tanuk and Ratan and Basha. This you'll find Goldstein. You'll find many interesting things. The very scientific thing. The availability, the ability to reduce the dose, hence a quarter of the price, could have the enormous consequence of making it available for many men, and this is for abiraterone, but for other drugs for women also. Other drugs like lepitanib and others with this common disease would not otherwise receive it, some in developed countries and many more globally. Unlike some institution that denies, some institution really denies, unfortunately, it's important. Ayan Tanuk stressed on the importance of the consequences of the trial in demonstrating the non-inferiority of low-dose abiraterone with food, largely because of the greed of company. This is what he said. But for us, say we are win-win. All companies will gain more by sales, more sales. Because the greed of company in setting an appropriate price that bears no relationship to the cost of the development of manufacture of abiraterone estate. Unfortunately, because of inappropriate the pricing of the drug, it is about 8,000 to 10,000 per month in the United States, and now is more. For standard treatment, many men will be denied the drug, even in developed countries. Few can afford it in poor and middle-income countries. Even so, it's manufactured and sold in India for approximately 1/20th of the US price. It also would send a message to the pharmaceutical industry that flawed drug development has its financial consequences. All the above, given the high attrition rate of oncology drug, we ask you all: do we really need to waste some of our successful products and the resources of patients and communities? Bazopanib has alliances to advance soft tissue sarcoma and metastatic renal cell carcinoma, kidney cancer, in a fixed oral dose of 800 milligrams taken while fasting. It is usually given after other treatment have failed. However, ingesting bazopanib with food may improve the patient comfort and reduce adverse gastrointestinal event. This also and reduced to 600 milligram. And this is the trial of see here the reference for the trials, clinical trial gov. Sirtinib 750 milligrams sirtinib in the fasting state used in patients with anaplastic lymphoma kinase ALK rearranged metastatic non-small cell lung cancer. 450 milligram with food, similar to 75 milligram in fasting. And this is the name of the trial. Vinclexta Vinclexta is prescription medicine used to treat adult CLL or small lymphocytic lymphoma in combination with azacitidine, decitabine, or low-dose cytarabine. It is all the drug which we use as all the generation of us use it. Cytosat is all drug. but still effective. It's used to treat adults with newly diagnosed acute myeloid leukemia. The effect of pazoconazole strong in cytochrome inhibitors and commonly used antifungal agent. This, if we give it with drug, it increases its efficacy and then reduce the dose, the required dose. Patient with acute myeloid leukemia receives 300 milligram pazoconazole plus reduced dose of venetoclax. Will receive 50 or 100 maximum instead of 400 to 600. You see the reduction to the account for experience in increase of venoclax plasma concentration. Here is and pazoconazole is antifungal, and sometimes it's used in leukemia. No, it is approved for antifungal agent. Update of December 2023, venetoclax helps narrow racial survival disparity in non-Hispanic Black patients with acute myeloid leukemia in USA. And this is ASH 2023. And this is more important and more valid, more important than 100 talks about the help racial survival disparity. This is by science. And this could be applied in other ethnicities and other continents also, but after trials. Generic equivalent and biosimilar of cancer chemotherapy drugs. This is very important because please, I need your feedback, all of you. We need your feedbacks, all of you, because generic equivalent biosimilar drug as well in many conference, many declaration, many agendas as the magic stick that will solve everything. This is not like this. We here state conditions for that. Our published views indicate that we stress not taking the proposal of using cheaper generic cancer drug or biosimilar as the magic wand or the magic stick, as an ideal solution for most cost-effective treatment without assuring the following. First, the flow of production. Second, their affordability. Third, that generic drugs and biosimilar are proven of good quality. Four things, that they show better value on patient cancer care, the inputs and costs related to the patient-centered outcome. These four conditions, we stress on these four conditions. Therefore, we also stress that it could be branded drugs, could be that generic drugs and biosimilar could be much more value if there were global regulatory consistency and trust in the good quality of and flow of drugs. We suggest the formation of international body of expert and program to assure the quality of bioequivalence and the cost of generic cancer drugs, in particular in low middle income countries. Hence, the better value could be obtained from these drugs. The win-win movement advocates that we publish, what we published previously, that the quality, bioequivalence, and bioavailability of generic drugs should be assured worldwide, and particularly in developing countries, by regulations and by developing a transparent system for international testing. A generic is not a question of generic drug or branded drug, but generic drugs could cause more harm if it is not good drug, not quality. And a brand drug could be more cost effective if it could produce more better effect on patients. So also the first line treatment you tested good quality drug could reduce the need for second and third line treatment, which are usually expensive. So the question is not generics or brand, but the good quality of drugs. Besides the risk of patients, the result of clinical trial and research in low middle income countries would be doubtful if the performance using drug of questionable quality, even they are used in the control arm. Again, so we see the question could not be whether they use the brand or generic in certain condition or for certain patient or certain community, but it should be about what better value we could get under given conditions. Repurposing and repositioning drugs, this is very important issue. Also, we have silly lecture for this, one of them by the Dr. Claire Sibido. And why this question is important? Because the development of new drugs is not enough for cancer management, in particular when considered the escalation of high prices, new indication of all drugs, and innovative fine indication, and uses all drugs to institute one of the approaches that deserve more research, incentives, and regulations. End of part 4 of 7. Thank you all. We count on all of you to advocate, be the ambassador of this message everywhere. You are the leaders. You are. But please, we would like to receive your feedback. All of you, please forward this video, forward this message to all of your colleagues, to all your network. These, you are the ambassador as the leader of all this initiative. Thank you all, and going forward, hand in hand together. Thank you. Goodbye. Hello all. Today, we present our fifth part of our series. I interrupt the lecture just to tell you that I hope that you are not bothered of all these examples. It is based on the contribution of more than 100 distinguished experts. And also it taken from many references. And the cause of that, there are many talks without implementation, without outcome, without reducing really the suffering of millions of cancer patients, that push us to search for what all the existing examples, and there are many. What we present here is just some examples. If we would like to contact and work together for more examples, there are many, and this is published by others, many distinguished authors. And this just stimulus that to say that there are solutions. Stop showing advanced cases. Stop showing and without treatment. Stop speaking about charity. Stop speaking charity to fund research, to get solutions for patients, to get better value cancer care for patients, and not just to continue the way as we are, because there will be collapse for the whole system. Thank you, and please, I'm sorry for bothering you for much scientific example, but there are other many. And please, you are the leaders. Raise the flag. Take from this material, publish, present in your university, in your schools, in your society, in your with your names and everything. This movement belongs to all. Sorry for interruption. Then we continue part 5 of 7 of this just example of cancer systemic drugs. There are many other examples in radiotherapy and other. It's coming. Examples of scientific exploration of resource-saving, better value cancer drug systemic therapy. It's part 5 of 7. As you see, this is just 7 parts, but we have many other examples. And the question, why there is no implementation of all these things? So this is a reply, the simple question that if increase affordability of better value cancer care feasible, possible, via scientific approaches in the world? Yes, yes, yes. الكورس دايركتورز بروفيسور ادوارdo جازاب، بروفيسور ديفيد كير، بروفيسور كيرو سيكورا، بروفيسور ويلفريد نيجوا، بروفيسور كريستينا ستيفان، بروفيسور تواليب نيجومات، بروفيسور ريكاردو اوديسيو، and Professor Luca Incroci, and I. A slide prepared by Dr. Fifi Mustafa and reviewed by me. A disclosure of conflicts, none. you notice that we add reference in all lectures in order that you can come back and return to references, and the reference was cited in the reference and so on. We didn't invent anything. Along the GOIS program, and this in short lecture, we don't transfer some information in passive way, but we raise brainstorming. It is not offending. It is for the sake of all. The objective is that all will win more. Companies, industry, patients, governments, all, and particularly, and before all, patients, surely. All your feedback are welcome. As we agreed together in the win-win initiative, we adopt flexibility of thought, free flow of ideas, are classic and innovative approaches, and that will be focused on scientific and political implementation in order to serve the goal of the increased affordability of better value cancer care. Why stress in this point every lecture? Because we will get more sustainable gain, including patients, communities, healthcare, cancer care professionals, industries, economies, and all stakeholders. We are not offending any. Pharmacogenomics studies and value-based treatment. Today we'll present some points. There are many interesting points, by the way, in this lecture and the others. What presented before and after. Pharmacogenomic studies and value-based treatment. Pharmacogenomic is a branch of genetics that includes individual genetic variations in how drugs work, their efficacy, and their adverse effects. Radiogenomic refers to the same science, but for radiotherapy. This science offers a partial explanation for the interpatient variability in treatment response. That's what we said before. It is different from one person to another. But how? This gives a partial explanation. Commonly observed in oncology, small variation in the patient germ line DNA sequence, which is genotype, including single nucleotide polymorphism. Single nucleotide polymorphism can alter the expression and functional activity of encoded protein. Often, genetic variants leading to clinically relevant functional changes occur in non-coding intron regions of the genome or in exons that codes for protein expression. These changes may lead to difference in drug distribution, metabolism, activity, and toxicity in different individuals. Pharmacogenomic studies have been suggested to guide adjustment for the effective use of some drugs, such as tamoxifen. Patients can be classified as poor, intermediate, or extensive metabolizer according to their genetic variation of in CYP2D6, a key enzyme in tamoxifen metabolism. However, further prospective studies of the CYP2D6 and this topic are warranted, as recent and controversies have been taking place regarding the significance and value of adoption of routine clinical CYP2D6 testing. This is the reference. Pharmacogenomic studies and value-based treatment. In the win-win global and scientific initiative, we adopt the saying, science is an endless search for the truth. We don't claim that we present the full fact or full perfection, but science is an endless search for the truth. The road is leading to facts is endless and enjoyable. Let us enjoy it together for the better of human being. In fact, once again, not every exciting scientific finding can be translated into the same expected clinical value in value. In short, and in the long-term clinical research and trials. It's a very important point. Probable variation in human host and tumor biology, real local socioeconomic conditions, and priorities of problem, cost effectiveness, cost utility, as well as available services, including supportive treatment, differently affect the overall outcome of cancer treatment. All these affect the overall outcome of cancer treatment. Specifically, pharmacogenomic and radiogenomic are among the possible reasons why the protocols and treatment guidelines produced by renowned organizations and society do not yield the same responses outcome in different communities and ethnics. Hence, these guidelines should not be copied by different communities without adaptation and without considering different local factors and their value in scientific and realistic way. It is not against science, but it is in the heart of science. Most genetic study only use white peoples to gather for gather information and for tests. So the underrepresentation of non-European groups is problematic for scientific and for scientific reason. And to conclude conclusions or to global conclusion, the effect of gene variants that are apparent only in unstudied groups remain unknown, which means that the important clues about the cause of disease might be missed. Such undiscovered gene will not be included when testing for genetic diseases. Therefore, a person carrying one of them could wrongly obtain a negative genetic test result and might be told that they are not at increased risk of developing a disease. In recent years, efforts to collect multi-ethnic data have increased. One example is the UK Biobank collection of data from 500,000 British people, which is accessible by any bona fide researcher, includes some 35,000 DNA exam sample from people who are either non-European or mixed race. Yet 90% of the research paper in United Kingdom Bank only use the data from European descent samples. Therefore, collecting data does not automatically solve the problem of non-white representation in research. It's a very important point. Also, pharmacogenomic studies and value-based treatment. Continued. This is very important. Pharmacogenomic study and value-based treatment. This continue. All this point about this point. And we try to be very simplified because it's enjoyable to see this together. Genetics and pharmacogenomic study may lead to better customization of treatment in order to achieve better outcomes. This would also avoid the waste of expensive treatment that yield smaller or insignificant response in different ethnicities and communities with different disease presentation. As shown earlier in this course and in our book and our latest book, value could be defined as input in relation to outcome. Value is defined as input in relation to outcome. Hence, better value cancer care may be achieved by some of these studies. Most programs use minimum criteria to develop their pathway. These typically include assessment of efficacy and toxicity. That is why evidence-based medicine could reduce cost and achieve equal or better outcome. A few pathway programs could go beyond this and delineate treatment option based on maximum survival benefit, effectiveness, quality of life, minimal toxicity, and cost saving. One way in which evidence-based medicine can help to reduce the cost of cancer care is by optimizing the appropriate use of less expensive drugs. This is what we say, evidence-based medicine could reduce cost and achieve equal or better outcomes. For example, if treatment pathway pointed to potential therapies that are largely equivalent in efficacy and toxicity, yet these two drugs vary enormously in cost. A pathway program that consider cost as factor would ultimately point to the less expensive drugs. More spending in cancer drugs could have lower value. That is not always more is more, but sometimes more is less. Cancer drugs have become more effective, however, a high degree of variation when in regard there is measure of health and economic value was found in 9 industrialized countries. Real world cancer drug use and expenditure was examined for the period from 2004 to 2014 in United States, Australia, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, Sweden, and the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom accounted for nearly 56% of cancer drug expenditure in 2014 across all countries evaluated in the study, but only received 12.6% of the global total net economic return generated in the year from oncology drug care. That is not always more. This is not more mean more spending more results. At the other end of the scale, Japan achieved close to 7 times as much return in terms of health gain per dollar spent on cancer drugs as the United States did. Cancer is the most expensive condition to treat per capita. Gross United States cancer drug expenditure is not primarily driven by consumption, which could mean an increase in number of treated patients, but by high prices for brand name drugs, mainly protein kinase inhibitors and monoclonal antibodies and anti-neoplastic. Reduction of the use of expensive supportive care and drugs without strong evidence. This is important because a physician should adhere to pathways that are less likely to prescribe expensive anti-emetic growth factors and other supportive care when there is absence of strong evidence to validate their use. Value-based reduction overall therapy. A study in the United States showed that out of those chemotherapy patients with 10 major cancer drugs, cancer diagnosis, who were identified as dying and in inpatient setting, 24% 10 major cancer disease diagnosis were identified as dying in inpatient setting. 24% received chemotherapy within the 14 days of death, and 51% received chemotherapy within the 30 days of death. Third or fourth line of treatment rarely change the course of disease and can cause incapacitating adverse side effects. We know all this. Palliative and supportive care should be considered along the way in combination of different lines of treatment. However, for the sake of patient quality of life and to lessen the burden on patient and family, it should only be proposed in certain late stages. The issue of overtreatment raises many controversies. It's a difficult decision. We cannot always predict when this will occur. Doctors may ask themselves, who am I to decide? Who am I as a doctor to decide? While we all remember the time-honored saying of Hippocrates, first, do no harm. Patients in general do not like to hear no cancer treatment. This is universal. To be clear, this is not a call to routinely abandon chemotherapy in deteriorating patients with progressive non-responsive late stage. But let us think together about incentives that could be provided: financial, scientific, career, psychological support, recognition, other incentives to oncology and cancer care professionals in order to avoid overtreatment and to be on the side of more sensible approaches such as palliative and supportive care that may include evidence-based, better value palliative chemotherapy. Value-based reduction, also treatment guideline backed by eventually support and lead the physician to confidentially recommend the most effective therapy as first-line treatment using standard order sets that define dosage strength and the number of cycles. For many cancers, especially solid tumor in adults, each successive line of treatment is less effective than the preceding line. When patients with late stage, this is not a rule, but it is common. When patients with late stage disease face difficult decision, some still wish to continue a line of treatment no matter what. This is unfortunately a fact. Others express a desire to improve the quality of life and may state that they would prefer to die at home rather in the hospital. Variation among patients. Third and fourth lines of treatment rarely change the course of disease and can cause incapacitating adverse effect. More than that, if patient cancer has not responded to or has progressed after the first or second line, the best course for that patient may be transition into palliative care. This also is not a rule. This is just we should think about. And by the way, we should repeat here that palliative and supportive care should not be in the end stage, but it is the supportive care and palliative care start even from the moment of diagnosis, start even with sympathizing ear It is kind of supportive care. A study analyzing Medistate 2007 data in a state revealed that out of those chemotherapy patients with 10 major cancer diagnoses who were identified as dying or in patient setting, 24% received chemotherapy within the late stage. Value-based reduction in overall survival, while we cannot always predict we can also provide we can try to provide practical guidelines that can be helpful in the end of care discussion. This includes demonstrating that the transition to hospice care can improve both the patient and the family quality of life and can reduce costs borne by the family and avoiding unnecessary effective chemotherapy administered within a few weeks of death. But it depends on that. Is you have a good hospice and good palliative care. This is very important. Less toxic pathways. Unfortunately, it has reported that 78%. Excuse me, 58. I'm sorry. 58% of potentially fatal adverse events are not listed in the initial US FDA drug label, and 38% are not reported in any published randomized trials. It's very important articles here. Bach stated that the voice of patient is missing in drug safety reporting. When there are two or more options of treatment, then we should select the least toxic if they are both the same effects. One of the most reasons that patient require hospitalization during treatment is adverse effect and complication caused by the agents. Less toxic on pathway regime can result in fewer, less severe adverse reactions, therefore reducing the number of unplanned hospital visits and costs. This end of part 5 or 7. 5 or 7. We count on all of you to advocate for this message, and this belongs to all of you. It's not mine. It's not yours only, but all of you. Please advocate for this. Be the ambassador and the leader of you and the old generation, the old and the young. Thank you all. And going forward, hand in hand. Thank you all.
I'm sorry to bother you again. So, hello. I'm sorry to bother you. Hello. I'm sorry to bother you with many data today, but it is we have many. Unfortunately, many people are listening now, but this is a permanent message. All the videos will be accessible on webs. Be the pioneer, be the leader. I see here my brother, Professor Taufik from Nigeria. But I didn't see many of my brother and sister whom I know very well in Nigeria. So be Professor Taufik.
Yes, sorry, Prof. I was just finishing. I mean, there's an update of both colleges, the West African College of Surgeons, Faculty of Radiology, and the National Programme Medical College of Nigeria physics update course, as a prerequisite, for the doctors on training. So I've been on this since in the last 2.5 hours, and that's what has kept me. Normally, I try to remind them again. In fact, I think I've gotten some recruits from this last cohort of, because the last lecture, or last presentation I made now are radiotherapy residents, about 9 of them from about 5 institutions in the country. And I'm actually trying to bring them on board, Sometimes I know some of these, like the ones I've recruited, they are very junior. And sometimes if they are in the hospital and with the senior colleague, if they are not, the senior colleagues are not on board, and they are not able to really, So, but it's a teaching problem. We'll work around that. Yes, I'm really surprised. I didn't see Maruf here today and his group. about 5 of them, so, but we will assiduously work on that once I come back from Umrah, inshallah. Sorry about that. Thank you for all the good job.
Inshallah, my brother, Professor Tawfiq, you are the leader, you are the ambassador of this. You have all the material, you have all the video. If you want slide, you present yourself. You are millions of cancer patients and in Africa and in Nigeria screaming, calling you to promote and to be the leader and to be the pioneer in this in Nigeria. Feel free. This is your material. Thank you, Professor Tawfiq. This is again for Professor Bashkim also for his very honest presentation that he presented us about Macedonia. And I'll do this presentation, and after we are looking to hear from this presentation from Dr. Beatrice Wayaf, who is really a great personality in Africa and the world and breast cancer surgeon.
Hello. Hello all. We are starting to present our sixth part of 7 of examples of scientific exploration for resource saving better value cancer drug systemic therapy. As we said before, we present 7 parts, but we have many other examples, all published. It's not published all. It is based on a scientific work of many authors. We didn't invent anything. The question always remains, so why it is not implemented? And the question is simple: is increasing affordability of better value cancer care in the real world is possible and feasible via scientific approach? Yes, yes, yes. Today we'll discuss a problem which is very sensitive, really. The midst global campaign, the fight against counterfeit medicines. Course Director, Professor Eduardo Gaza, Professor David Kerr, Carlos Sikora, Wilfred Negwa, Cristina Stefan, Twalib Ngoma, Ricardo Dizio, and Luca Incroci, all are professors. And I, slides prepared by Dr. Fifi Mustafa Said, reviewed by me. Disclosure of conflict, none. We sit always reference as much as we can, so you can come back to this reference and the reference of the reference also. You can, and you can, if you like, please send to us to get PDF material of all our slides. Send to us feedback at ISODOC website. Note 1, as we said always, along the GOIS program and its short course, we don't transfer some information in passive way, but it is brainstorming points. It's not offending. The objective is that all will win. All feedback are welcome. As we agreed together in the Win-Win Initiative and the Global Oncology University, we adopted the flexibilities of thoughts, free flow of ideas, classic and innovative approach, and that all will be focused on scientific and practical implementation in order to serve the goal to increase the affordability of better value cancer care in the real world. All will get sustainable gain, including patient, community, health care, cancer care professional, industries. They will sell more, so it will be gain, flourish, everything, economies, and all stakeholders. So we all will win. This is win-win. Counterfeit medicine is worth $200 billion and cause 1 million deaths annually. You imagine how it is serious. According to the World Health Organization, the International Criminal Police, Interpol, and the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, over 1 million people die annually from counterfeit medicine. This is what is recorded. The real picture, we don't know. Such medicine have serious impacts on population health, including treatment failure, toxicity, and contribution to antimicrobial resistance. Medicine counterfeiting is worth $200 billion annually. Medicine counterfeiting is now one of the most lucrative counterfeiting business. segments in the world, and with very light legal consequences. And unfortunately, it is 1,000 investment yield upward 400,000. You imagine 1,000 investment yield 400,000. It is really a profitable business. The value volume ratio for fake medicine is higher than for many illegal drugs. So in the start, most of the counterfeit medicine were for lifestyle conditions such as weight loss. However, medicine for treatment of serious life-threatening conditions such as cancer, HIV, AIDS, tuberculosis, and malaria now account for 60% of all counterfeit medicines. About 70% of the counterfeit medicine originates from India and China, 70%. However, other regional counterfeiting operations are increasing in their share. This includes operations based in Europe, Africa, and the frontiers of Southeast Asia. Myanmar, Cambodia, and Laos most sell to Malaysia and Indonesia. South America, in particular Colombia and Mexico, mostly sell to the United States and Canada. In most markets, consumers who cannot afford medicine on the conventional health market seek prescription from the parallel health systems. Unfortunately, such prescriptions come from open drug market in the case of Africa and Southeast Asia. Up to 7% of prescriptions sourced through these channels are estimated to be counterfeit. It's a serious problem. Are there proposed solutions? One of the proposed solutions, but we should think seriously about more and more solutions. One of the proposed solutions is to develop devices that can rapidly determine the quality of a medicine. We present here the idea of new device with a link to more information, as we don't mention the name of the device and company here because it's not commercial. This is not the lecture as scientific and not commercial. So the device, we don't mention the name. The device has proprietary artificial intelligence platform which use a handheld nano scanner to enable rapid drug quality checking by drug regulators and pharmacists across the world. It checks the chemical quality of drug versus a pure reference compound using a proprietary artificial intelligence model and database. Using a device or similar device, not necessarily or similar invention, drug regulators and pharmacists can quickly determine the quality of drug is in less than 30 per second using a mobile phone. It could be also developed and more innovation. Drugs that fail in screening, the tests are sent to centralized lab for confirmatory test. It's currently used in Myanmar and is about to be developed by major regulator in West Africa, since it is 20 times cheaper than existing handheld spectrometers. It is well suited for development across resource poor countries, and this, the field is open for more innovation and surely for all. Are there proposed solutions continued? Yeah, okay. Drug regulators and pharmacies worldwide may use such devices for the rapidly quality assurance of imported and purchased medicine before they are distributed and dispensed. They will make importers and supply accountable, since they will no longer be able to supply substandard drugs, as regulators and pharmacies will have a tool that determines the drug quality. Effective large-scale approaches are required to tackle the growing global problems of counterfeit medicine. Importantly, this includes accurate and scalable tools that facilitate the rapid detection of such medicine to promote accountability and enable global monitoring, especially in low and resource settings. as a low-cost tool that enables this detection. This tool and other tools that the field is open for all invention, aims to make an important contribution to making medicine safe globally. Unfortunately, it is rare to find this serious problem of counterfeit medicine in medical articles or conferences. Don't know why. Hence the question, how we can expect better value health care and drug therapy while this serious defect persists? We ask the question. Many serious and realistic win-win scenarios and campaigns involving the relevant international, national, and community authorities are needed to develop many approaches for global access to affordable and reasonable essential medicine. All would win except the offenders responsible for counterfeit medicine. However, even their families would get access to true medicine and true care. This ends part 6 of 7. Thank you all. We count on all of you to advocate and to be ambassador of this message, and all your feedback, critics, and all your suggestions and ideas going forward in fruitful cooperation. Thank you all and goodbye. Till our next presentation.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Warm greetings from Ghana, from the Office of Breast Care International, to all the members of this session, the 12th Global Oncology session. I'm very pleased to be with you here and to share a few words. Let me first thank Professor Izone for inviting me to speak on this platform. I want to touch on accessibility and affordability when it comes to cancer care in the low and middle income countries. If we want to change the narrative about cancers in the low and middle income countries, and here I'm focusing on Africa, it means we have to change some of the things that we do. And so we realize that in most African countries, we have the treatment centers in the cities. What this means is that, for example, a woman who has found a lump in her breast has to travel for hours before she can get to a center where she can have a mammogram done, she can have a biopsy taken, and she can even access treatment. We are not talking about affordability yet, because it's also a huge problem. Poverty is an issue, and so affordability is something we need to consider. Because these centers are in the cities, and you don't blame them. I'm not saying it's wrong to have the centers in the cities, because it's in the cities that you have the good roads, you have reliable electricity, you have good water, and so it's normal to have these centers in the cities. But let's not forget about the fact that majority of our women live in the communities. They live in the rural communities where treatment is not available. What can we do? We need to start thinking about how to build capacity. How can we build capacity of the healthcare professionals who are living in these communities? We need to make sure that at least we have some of the facilities closer to where our people are living. Something we need to touch on is how to train our healthcare professionals. Some of the professionals who are found in these communities can be retrained. We have a lot of physician assistants, and I believe that some of these physician assistants can be trained how to pick core biopsies. And when the biopsies are taken, they should not be given to the patient. This facility should arrange to have a good referral system where the facility will rather send the sample to the laboratory where the pathologist will be reading for them. We also have to train the nurses as nurse navigators who will be there to counsel the woman who has been diagnosed with breast cancer. I always talk about women because I have breast cancer at the back of my mind, but we should also think about the men who are diagnosed with prostate cancer. So capacity building of nurses who are nurse navigators should be considered. We should also think about the caregivers. Caregivers need to be trained. Unfortunately, we find in the low and middle income countries, caregivers are normally family members, but who trains them? We need to start training them. We can also train survivors, like how at Breast Care International we've trained breast cancer survivors to be peer navigators. We need to do that so that the survivors will be peer navigators and also will be there to support these newly diagnosed patients. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want us to look for the Lancet Oncology Commission's reports on Sub-Saharan Africa, the May 2022 edition. In this book, I think this book should be the Bible of every health care professional in the low and middle income country, especially in Sub-Saharan Africa. Go to page 26 and you'll find the activities of Breast Care International captured here. So please, let's do the right things. Let's start to change the narrative about cancers in the low and middle income countries like Africa. Thank you so much for having me.
Dr. Beatrice, dear sister and dear a big leader in Africa, in the world. We are very glad that for your presentation, and I would like to tell us besides also Lancet Oncology Commission how you will lead this movement between your hands, all the materials, all the videos, all the slides, the books, and the Lancet Oncology and all, to be all this translated into better, accessible, affordable care for millions of cancer patients with dignity. The floor is yours. Dr. Beatrice. Unmute. Please unmute your mic. Maybe there is some technical problems. So we are together for 10 minutes again. So if possible, I would like to hear from the Professor Bashkim Zebri, and after from Dr. Nermeen Muradi. And if Professor Tawfiq would like to add anything, please, Professor Tawfiq, we need you a lot in the theories of radiotherapy also, and solar power energy and radiotherapy and many other topics, and electronic brachytherapy and many articles. And we are waiting your excellent presentation based on your chapter in the latest book. So, Professor Bashkim. Hello.
Nice to see you again. Yes, in fact, unfortunately, the connection with Dr. Beatrice was not so good, but in fact, she is one of the great promoters of cancer care. And when you see the videos, how many people are following her initiatives and her, let's say, early detection programs that she's putting in life in different countries in Africa. In fact, she's really one of the great promoters of these initiatives. And I have had the chance to meet her a few times, and she's a great person. She has a lot of energy of bringing people together. And in fact, it's a very, very small video that she showed, because she's very moderate when she shows the videos. And there is a huge emotional video when she shows how many people are following her marches against disparities and for a better cancer care. What is also very important is that when we speak about cancer care, we should look on all dimensions of promoting these different programs. And this we must have in mind to include people from NGOs, from different NGOs that are dealing with societal problems, young people from early ages, from middle school, high school, and also students, professionals. And we have to develop different programs that are short, scientific, short, entertaining programs for small children, but also early scientific research grants for students, and also awareness programs for students, high school students and university students. We are organizing the masterclass again this year in different countries for importance of radiotherapy and interdisciplinarity in different scientific disciplines. And it's amazing how many young people, high school students, are interested and willing to take part in this training masterclasses that are really connected with hands-on at the end. So we have to work in different directions and to bring this, let's say, also scientific results closer to the community about their importance, seriosity, and that we need to act according to the scientific findings.
Thank you very much. And all what you said is very, very needed, really. And you are a leader, you are co-founder of this endeavor. So please free to lead and not only in East Europe, all over the world. You have the material or everything. We would nothing will happen and be effective except if we are together, if we are intensive together, if we are collect many people around us to do it. So you are a leader. Go on, go on, Professor Bashkim. Thank you very much. If Dr. Nermin Moradi is there.
Yes, hello.
Please introduce yourself first. Okay.
Yes, I'm Nermine Murati. I just finished my master studies in physics. I'm not doctor, but it's very nice and it's a pleasure to be in this program. I had the opportunity to hear many things because I'm not doctor, but it's nice to hear also the part and the lessons that you give. I want to thank you for all your effort and things you deliver to us, all the materials. So it's nice to hear and learn new things.
Thank you very much. We count on you and your generation because I am old man, but so we would like to see that your generation see a better future, and this will be created by you. So be a leader, go on, distribute this message everywhere, and be promoter everywhere. Dr. Fifi Mustafa, you are there? Unmute the mic. If not, the big is for the big. So Professor Taufik, our great brother, will make the closing remark and finish this. The big or for the big thing, for the closing. Professor Taufik.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Prof, for this honor. I think probably we have said it. You have said it all. Each time I listen to Professor Beshkin, I mean, it gives a lot of fillip to what is actually going on, especially in the underserved regions of the world. But in spite of it, all these ideas that you are bringing up, that is catching up in your zone, I think it's something for us to really work on in the other areas of the world, and I'm sure with these efforts being put together. And one thing again, I actually wanted to quickly latch on, please. Week in, week out, although we notice that we just started the year, the low numbers, we shouldn't get discouraged, please. I'm sure, because it is, the low number of participants, I'm sure as time goes on, it will start building up. But you should not just be discouraged. We have to keep on pushing, and I'm sure in no distant future we'll get to our aims. Thank you so much, everybody, for being part of this great initiative, and I'm sure the future is rosy by His grace. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, and we are sure if we are together, this will be the trend in the world.
Yeah.
So be the leader,
sure.
And then we'll, if there are any other comments from colleagues or something, or we close. Dr. Muhammad Mithat Abu Salama said, thank you. Okay. Okay. Till next Wednesday, we'll have with us Dr. Cathy Graf from BioVenture, and she have a very interesting projects in Africa. Please be with us, Professor Taufik, and all colleagues, and ask colleagues from Africa, because they have many projects in Africa and in the world. Is BioVenture for global health. So they could have in East Europe, in Latin America, and even Europe, United States. It is an American society, and they will present this access program to access to treatment, to cancer care. And we'll present our seventh part of example of cancer systemic drugs. Then we pass after to repurposing, and after we have many exciting lecture about radiotherapy, because radiotherapy is very, very important. And we'll discuss together how we can use the available existing facilities to treat double or triple the number of patients in many parts of the world, and how to pave the way for expanding radiotherapy for minions. We also have a part for industries. The CEO of Varian and the chief medical officer of Varian, the vice president of Electa, have very exciting lecture. We have also Professors Eric Ford and Professor Ruth Perbico, from physicist from Washington University and from Harvard. They present some scientific solutions that can you can treat more number of patients with the same facility, with by simplifying facilities, and this will be not only scientific for Africa, for Asia, for Europe, but for even in New York, the crowded patient in New York. So it's very, very exciting example. Professor Taufik also have a very exciting lecture and presentation based in chapter with distinguished colleagues, really Norma Column and many other colleagues. So thank you for now, and we are your all material in the webs is yours. Use it, distribute it. You are the leader. With nice words from you, you are the leader, and go on. No leaders here. You are the leader. You are all the leaders. Thank you, and bye-bye.